Does the Daily Mail understand how America works? Because they're saying that Harry and Meghan are not quite the people Americans thought they were going to be. Is there a poll of Americans somewhere that I totally missed? Most Americans that I know are not thinking about Harry and Meghan at all, besides myself, and they're certainly not thinking that of them as a brand that doesn't exist. They see them sometimes. Probably people get excited to see them, and that is all that Americans think about them. The Daily Mail really, really wants this to be true, though, that Americans are thinking about them all the time and hate them. But that's actually British people. They're the ones thinking about Harry and Meghan all the time, not us.
Look, we all know the Daily Mail's obsessed. It's actually embarrassing at this point. They're running these massive, dramatic headlines claiming America has woken up and that Harry and Meghan's brand is apparently a ghost town. Please, give me a break. Let's be real for a second. The only people praying for a Sussex downfall are the British tabloid writers who literally have nothing else to talk about. They are manifesting this failure so hard, writing fiction pieces masquerading as expert analysis because drama sells papers. They wish the rubbish they were printing was true. They want Americans to hate them so bad, but over here, nobody is losing sleep over their Netflix deal. In fact, people still love them. The Daily Mail wants you to think the public is out here holding town halls, crying about the Sussexes' brand strategy. Nobody in the real world cares about a brand existence. If you ask anyone on the street, they're either rooting for them to secure the bag and live their life away from the royal mess, or they're just scrolling past to find out what's for dinner. The tabloids are desperately trying to stir up a plotline that isn't there. It's pure fiction. Harry and Meghan are doing just fine, living their lives, and the UK media needs to finally pack it up, move on, and find a new hobby. The obsession is played out. The Daily Mail is straight up formatting their entire business model around being pressed. It's giving Fatal Attraction, like blink twice if Harry and Meghan are holding your servers hostage, because the level of pure, unadulterated salt is wild. They're out here dropping these massive scientific declarations about how Americans supposedly hate the Sussexes now. Oh really, Dave? Did you do a census? Did you pull up to a Wendy's drive-thru in Ohio and ask the cashier how they feel about the archetype of archetypes? No, because nobody on this side of the pond is stressing it. Americans love a breakout story. We love the drama, we love the pivot, and honestly, we just like seeing people stick it to their old bosses. Meanwhile, look at the rest of the roster. You've got William, Kate, Charles, Camilla, crickets from the Mail. They could be doing the most boring, out-of-touch stuff imaginable, and the Mail treats it like a holy event. But the second Meghan breathes California air, it's a national emergency. It's embarrassing. They want this downfall so bad they're practically manifesting it in their sleep. Regular people are trying to pay rent and figure out if they can afford eggs, and the Daily Mail wants us to hold a candlelight vigil because a Netflix exec supposedly had a bad meeting. Get a grip. The obsession is loud, it's messy, and frankly, they need to find a new hobby, because this one is played out. Let's talk about numbers, since the Daily Mail seems to have amnesia. They love shouting that the Sussexes are a flop, but reality check, their first Netflix docuseries absolutely shattered records. It was literally Netflix's biggest documentary debut. Over 81 million hours watched in the first 4 days. That's not a ghost brand, that's a whole-ass blockbuster. Regular people weren't hate-watching either. They tuned in because people wanted the real tea, straight from the source. And honestly, thank God they dropped it, because through that documentary we got an actual look behind the curtain. They exposed the absolute rot and bile baked into that institutional system. They pulled back the layers on how the British tabloid machine climbs into bed with the palace to destroy people for clicks and crowns. We finally got to see how the sausage gets made, and it was nasty. Shout out to Harry and Meghan for having the stones to put it all on screen and flip off the old guard. But the Daily Mail is out here acting like a bitter ex, writing fan fiction about Netflix being fed up. Meanwhile, Archewell Productions is literally extending deals, locking in new film projects, and producing everything from rom-coms to intense war movies. They are booked, busy, and unbothered. For the average person sitting on the couch, watching them win is just satisfying. It's the ultimate workplace revenge story. Imagine quitting a toxic, soul-crushing family business, moving across the world, and then getting $100 million bag to tell your former bosses exactly why they suck. It's iconic. The Daily Mail can keep crying into their tea towels and inventing imaginary failures, but the receipts don't lie. The Sussexes ran their checkup, dropped some heavy truths, and left the tabloids screaming into the void. We need to talk about the absolute state of journalism right now, because calling what the Daily Mail does journalism is an insult to spell check. We're out here navigating a world where normal people are just trying to survive, pay their bills, and find a little peace. Meanwhile, these tabloid executives are running their newsrooms like a high school burn book, completely obsessed with a couple living thousands miles away. This isn't news. This is a sick, parasitic fixation. Look at what they did during Harry and Meghan's trip to Australia, breaking safety embargoes, stalking security teams, and actively messing up police logistics just to score a petty scoop. That is not reporting the news. That is creating a circus and pretending you're just documenting it. They are literally out here violating basic privacy rules, getting dragged into high court over hacking and bugging people's houses, and then turning around to lecture the public on brand strategy and who Americans supposedly hate. Let's get real. The average person on the street does not give a single care about a brand that doesn't exist. People loved the Netflix documentary because it pulled back the curtain on the exact toxic coordinated hate machine the Mail operates. The receipts are clear as day. While the tabloids are drowning in their own bitter ink, writing dozen fan fiction articles a day to manifest a downfall, Harry and Meghan are locking down new deals, breaking streaming records, and minding the business that pays them. The journalism model needs an absolute purge. We don't need multi-million-dollar media empires acting like obsessive, toxic exes. The Daily Mail needs to pack up their long lenses, delete their drafts, and find an actual job, because this endless, desperate hate campaign is embarrassing, played out, and nobody is buying it anymore. Let's be real for a second. The funniest part of this whole thing is that some people act like Prince Harry and Meghan's biggest crime was, leaving. Leaving. That's it. Not robbing a bank, not starting a cult, not stealing anybody's lunch money. They packed their bags and said, yeah, this isn't working for us. And somehow that decision still has certain newspapers acting like they personally stole the crown jewels and hid them in California. Make it sense. You know what this looks like to regular people? It looks exactly like when somebody quits a toxic job and the former boss can't stop talking about them. Every staff meeting becomes, well, when they worked here. Every conversation somehow circles back to the employee who left 2 years ago. At some point, everybody in the room starts wondering, wait, if they're so irrelevant, why are you bringing them up every 5 minutes? That's where we're at. The obsession is actually becoming the story. Because if Harry and Meghan truly had no influence, no popularity, no public interest, then why is there a fresh headline every time Meghan drinks coffee, wears jeans, breathes oxygen, or posts a picture of a flower? Meghan could sneeze and somebody would write a 2,000-word article investigating whether the sneeze was a threat to the monarchy. It's getting ridiculous. And here's the part people notice. The Sussexes left the system. They left the bubble. They left the script. Now nobody can tell them what interviews to give, what projects to launch, what businesses to start, or what opinions they're allowed to have. That's what seems to bother people. Control. Because once somebody walks away, the usual pressure stops working. The guilt trips stop working, the fear stops working, the know your place speeches stop working. And some folks absolutely hate that. We've all seen it in real life. Friend leaves a toxic friend group, employee leaves a terrible workplace, family member sets boundaries. Suddenly, they're the villain. Not because they did something awful, because they stopped accepting nonsense. That's why so many ordinary people actually understand Harry and Meghan's situation. Millions of people have left jobs, relationships, social circles, and environments that were draining their life out of them. Then the people they left spent years talking about them. Years. That's when you know somebody's living rent-free in your head. And let's be honest, some coverage doesn't feel like journalism anymore. It feels like an ex scrolling your Instagram at 3 a.m. Every move gets analyzed, every photo gets dissected, every project becomes an emergency. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan are over there living their lives, raising kids, signing deals, launching projects, and minding the business that pays them. The funniest thing about this whole thing is that every attack often creates more attention. It's like watching somebody desperately try to put out a fire by throwing gasoline on it. Brilliant strategy, lads. Absolutely flawless. At the end of the day, regular people aren't stupid. They can spot bitterness, they can spot obsession, and they definitely notice when someone claims not to care while dedicating 12 articles a week to proving how much they don't care. That's the biggest joke in all of this. The Sussexes left years ago, yet some people are still standing at the window watching the car disappear down the road. Move on, mate. The journey started a long time ago. Alright folks, that's a wrap. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I've been your host, Miles. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button like it owes you money, share this video far and wide, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them and some of you are absolutely hilarious. Until next time, stay safe, stay awesome, and keep the tea hot. See you in the next one.
Thank you so much guys for watching this podcast. I'm your host Miles. I really hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe to our channel, like our videos, share videos with to friends, family and relatives. I'll catch you in the next episode and may God bless you for supporting this channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Love you all and goodbye. Stay woke.